If you trust the government is going to do the right thing, I think you're alone in that respect.
In November 2015, the National Security Agency lost the ability to directly hold information about the phone calls of millions of U.S. citizens. This was all thanks to the USA Freedom Act passed last summer. But don't get too comfortable. While the change is significant, the NSA can still collect and store your communication from the internet and social media. So all those selfies you've been taking and all those online chats with friends, yeah, the NSA may have them stored up somewhere. It's hard to say where they store them, but in the future they'll be stored here in these nondescript concrete buildings in the sleepy town of Bluffdale, Utah. We asked the NSA if they could show us around the complex, but were promptly turned down because the site is a secure facility. They may have understandably been a little spooked since Edward Snowden revealed all that spying on Americans that they were involved in.
The NSA data center is primarily server space, where they have large rooms with racks of servers.
That's Pete Ashdown of XMission, an internet service provider in Salt Lake City. Before Snowden revealed massive spying by the NSA in 2013, Ashdown was able to get a tour of what was inside those concrete buildings, and he may be one of the only people to talk about what he saw publicly.
What did you see? How did you even get an invitation to go?
XMission is part of Utah Data Center Consortium, which was started by an individual at the University of Utah. University of Utah, of course, has their own data center, and they wanted to get people together to share ideas and best practices. The Data Center Consortium includes University of Utah, eBay, Oracle, and it also includes the NSA. And I think the NSA participates, just to be friendly and probably to recruit, because whenever there's a thing at the University of Utah where we're talking data centers, they go up and they want to talk to the students to tell them what they do and what a great job it is to work for the NSA. So they made that invitation in fall of 2012, and I heard it was a great facility and I wanted to check it out.
So you walk in, and what do you walk around and see on this tour?
It was still under construction at that point, and I saw a lot of people pulling cable. They loaded us into a van and drove us around. First we saw the facility kind of like from above, and they pointed out how it's divided into two facilities that are redundant with each other. The questions they would answer were very banal, but we were able to calculate the capacity just by counting the generators. Each of those generators was like a 2 megawatt generator, and they had over 30 of them, I think.
Oh, wow. That's a lot of power.
It is a huge amount of power. I think a megawatt can service 1,000 homes.
The tour guide said that one of the reasons they wanted to build the data center in Utah was because of the patriotism of people from Utah.
Yeah, that was one of my questions, is why did you come here? And his response was, the electricity is cheap and the people are patriotic. And I read that as a code word, is that nobody's going to ask any questions. And that kind of sat with me uneasily, that in my opinion, patriotism is questioning your government consistently. The idea that we're just sheep out here and we're not going to care, I think is, even though we're a very conservative state, I think a lot of people would bristle at that idea.
Okay, so they put the pillowcase back on your head and you leave the facility. What did you think after leaving the facility? What mulled in your head?
I'd always heard the myths that the NSA could read hard drives and crack all encryptions, and I asked them about that and they just kind of laughed that off. But as the days went on and I thought more about the facility and I thought more about what Mark Klein had revealed in 2004. He revealed that in the AT&T data center in the Bay Area that the NSA had an intercept room where all the data flowing through AT&T at that point was going in, and nobody knew what was going on inside. Now, that was something else that was interesting about the tour, is I asked, well, where's your internet connection? Do you have a connection to the internet at all? And they said, this building is not connected to the internet. So they have intercept points around the country that I think they pull data off of those intercept points and put them on their own private network. They definitely have fiber going into that building, but I think it's completely air-gapped from the internet. I started to realize that it's just a data collection point, that they're collecting and storing as much data off the internet and telephone networks that they can. And they think that if you ask for a warrant later to look at the data, that's okay.
Even with everything that Snowden revealed, do you think that the average American really understands bulk data collection from the NSA?
Absolutely not. I think it's a very hard thing for most Americans to understand exactly that their data is being intercepted and stored. And a lot of people would say, well, I'm not a criminal, I don't have a problem with it. Well, the thing you have to realize is you may not be a criminal, but giving that data to other people and trusting them with it, there could be criminals on the other side. If you trust the government is going to do the right thing, I think you're alone in that respect.